Well, look at this KCMX M175. It's not wanting to start. I really didn't plan on doing that today. That was kind of one of those unforeseen things that came along. We'll go run down here and see if we can figure out what's going on with that. Okay, well, you guys want to see a pile of fumigation plastic that gets baled up, and now that we're having our trade war with China, there's nowhere to go for this shit. This is where this plastic was going. It was going to China. I don't know, I'll just show you how much plastic there is sitting here. We'll drive over here real quick. China was taking this stuff and recycling it and using it, and I think probably half the shit you buy at Walmart, a lot of it was coming from fumigation plastic. I mean, there's probably 10 acres right here full of plastic. Drip tape goes all the way over there. Nowhere for it to go. Nobody will take it. I don't know what these guys are gonna do about this stuff. They're gonna have a fucking mess. That's the thing. I would, I think you almost got to do something. I would think I would tell the nursery that, you bought. I think I would say that you bought the fumigation plastic when you had the fumigator come out and fumigate your field. So we'll go pull the plastic, we'll bale it, you figure out what the hell to do with it. It's not our problem. That's what I'd be telling them. Why should you have to figure out what you're going to do with this crap? Basically, that's kind of the way I look at it. When they, there's fumigated ground out there. When they fumed it, they bought the plastic, because you know that the fumigator charges them for the plastic. They bought it already. It's theirs. No, I don't know, man. That's just my thought on the whole thing. Instead of these guys here, they don't, shit. This guy here is not the nursery. This guy here bought this piece this is all they do. They pull plastic off fumigation fields there. The outfit's called Plastic Recovery Systems. That's all they do is go out, and they've got three of these big plastic balers they hand built, custom fabricated, and they go out and bale this plastic off these fields. But I don't quite understand why they're holding on to it like this, why they don't tell the nurseries that, we're not here to consume your plastic and get it off your hands. We're here to bale it and get it off your field. We'll put it in the holding area on your ground, and you figure out what to do with it. That's kind of what I would do anyway, but maybe it doesn't work that bad. I may be full of shit. This little tractor's seen better days. Okay, Duke, don't be running off. All right. Don't be running off, turkey. I gotta figure out what we've got going on here. Lay them sunglasses there. So what are they cracking? They said, are they cracking this to get it to bleed out? Let's see, will this move? Half the time these little bleeders are, it's half screwed up. This old tractor's starting to show its age. Okay, let's see if we get a bunch of air out of that. I think they got this door here all screwed up to where it won't open. Gas cylinder's gone off the door. Boy, these guys don't take care of shit. Don't take care of nothing. That door stay open maybe where we can look at something? Hell no, why would that happen? Alright, electric fuel pump's running. I don't see really any air coming out there. Something's loose there because it's leaking. Well, that ain't right. Something's going on there. We gotta look at that. Something ain't right there. Oh, it's leaking. Yeah, it ain't gonna start for shit like that. I don't make sense. We can't get that bastard out of there. It would be wonderful why they got it bolted in there. Right here. We have to get an Allen head or something to take this loose. That thing on there right. They had the O-ring pinched on it. Let's see here, put another O-ring on it. Let's turn the key off for a minute, because before it wouldn't start after you left it off for a little while. This old tractor here, boy, needs a lot of work. A lot of work. Hey guys. You guys over here in the shade, huh? Good looking? Huh? Good looking, huh? Let's clean this up here. Let's clean this up a little bit there, Dukas. Still gotta put the Allen head bolts up. I was trying to leave them loose a little bit till I figured out what was exactly going on if I had to take this back off. I looked at the line coming into the filter head and going back. I didn't see anything there. Yeah, that line goes right back to the tank right here. got them quick connect things. Unless that O-ring is bad inside that line, it goes over the nipple on the filter head. I wouldn't think so. I've never seen one go bad, but I don't know. This tractor's starting to get a lot of hours on it. Hours, a lot of years of hard, abused use. Yeah, I pulled this thing off here a while ago and checked it. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought maybe that plastic line might have been rubbing somewhere and rubbed a hole in the suction line, you know. Well, we've left it off. They said when you left it off for just just a minute, if you shut it off to talk to somebody and then started it, wouldn't want to start again. Gained anything on it. God, I can't stand guys that can't do something as simple as pop a gas cylinder on the damn door. Okay, she's starting right up now. Let's put the Allen heads in it, and then we'll try it again. Hey guys, so yet again here, for some reason my GoPro camera, it'll just lose the sound tracks, the audio tracks to the clip. But anyway, what I ended up doing is I went back out there. I went and worked on a little Ford tractor, and I went back like 2 hours later to try to see if that tractor would start again, and it would not start. It would just crank and crank and crank, and I had to, and I really didn't even have to bleed it. I just cranked and cranked, and it started. But I probably cranked on it a good 30 seconds. 30 seconds straight before it finally started. So I knew that I had a problem with the injection pump losing prime, or the cylinder head maybe leaking off and going back to return. So what I went out there and did, what I've got in my hand right now is what they call an overflow return valve, and one end of that screws inside the injection pump, and what that does is that keeps the fuel inside your injection pump. So I pulled it tees. One line goes back to the tank coming off of it, and then one's coming from the injectors for the return going to the T also, which tees into the return line going back to the pump, or to tank. So right now I'm blowing through it with my mouth. It's supposed to take 14 to 16 psi for that to come out of the pump back to return. So what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to keep your pump primed. The way I figured it out, I thought, man, I'm losing my prime somewhere. So what I did is I took the line off where it tees coming off the injectors. It's straight up, and the other one's parallel going back towards the tank. The one that's vertical going from the injectors, I pulled it off, and it's a pretty good little standpipe. It's probably 2 inches, 3 inches long, and it had pressure on it with the key off, you know, engine not running, and it was pushing the fuel out of there. And I said, man, that just cannot be right. That just can't be right. So I took a pair of vice grips, and I took that plastic line that was coming off the injector return line going down to the T. I took a pair of vice grips and I pinched that line, and to isolate the injector side of it. I actually pulled the line off going back to return on the tank is what I did, and then I pinched the line going into the T. I hooked it back up coming from the injectors, and it didn't slow down the fuel flow at all. So I thought, man, it's coming out of the injection pump and going back to tank. It's bleeding my pump off is what it's doing. And sure as hell, I took it out of the injection pump, and I remember I had one on a 24-valve Cummins in a Dodge pickup one time with a VP44 pump. This actually is a Bosch VP30 pump, and I remember looking it up. It was 14, 16 PSI is what's supposed to overcome that to go back to return. So I knew when I blew through it with my mouth it was junk. So anyways, we've got that figured out, and that's that. Hey guys, this is that e4od transmission of that 96.4. I just dropped the pan on it to see what things look like. I've never seen this before. I'm sure you guys that do the automatics quite a bit have. This is the filter out of it. This is melted. The oil got so hot. This is the nipple where it goes up into the pump. It's melted off of there. And it got so hot. I don't know if that's, look how it's all concaved and melted in there. That's the first. I've never seen that. I've never seen that happen before. It's crazy. Here's our e4od. Got the extension housing off. There's your park gear and all that mechanism and stuff back there. Go ahead and get the pan. Off this little stinking nasty thing. I pressure washed it, but it didn't do a very good job. I knew that was coming. This one's burned up pretty bad. I got a hole in the bench here. And let's zip the bolts out of the pump. I think I left my slide hammer. These e4ods, most of these Ford transmissions have got some threaded holes in the actual pump body, and you can take a slide hammer and slide them out of there, but there's another way of getting it out of there. Man, this thing got hot. This thing really got hot. It melted that seal. I can't wait to see what's once I get this valve body off. I think I'll pull this valve body off of here and pull the manual lever position sensor off. Let's go ahead and zip it off of there and try to get it out of there. Up with my bench here. The cabinets aren't spaced high enough from away from the view, and the bell housing hits the cabinet. They weren't really built for what I'm doing here. These actually come off pretty easy, not like the 406 where you gotta pry them off. Okay. So on these e4ods, 4100s, you're actually going to have your valve body and your accumulator body. Okay, so here's your accumulator body. This is your actual shift valves here. This is your accumulator body, shift valves, solenoid pack, right here. Accumulator body off. It's an automatic transmission, and there's oil going everywhere. Pretty much unavoidable. Yeah, look at the metal. This thing, crazy. This is going to be probably a really bad one. Look at the metal right here. Yeah, this one's in pretty piss poor condition. Okay, I need to make some room on the bench here. Crap out of the way. Okay, this accumulated body here. I'm zipping all this other crap off of here. Should be able to take this all off as one assembly if I remember right. All the long bolts in. I think you gotta take them all out. Stinking burnt transmission fluid. Gotta love it. More mess. I got a hole in the bench. Let's see if we get most of it moved over to the hole in the bench. It'll drain into the bucket here. Nasty shit. And then I gotta get the accumulator valve body off of here. This one's going to be in pretty tough shape, I can tell. I think this is an e4od. Nice book. Let's see if we can find it. I'll show you. It'll show you in here your check ball configuration somewhere. These e4ods were made quite a few years, for a span of years, and they changed their check balls around and quite a bit of stuff on them. So I know there's a, yeah, see right here. Well, these are air pressure check locations, but there's a spot in here that'll tell you what exactly e4od you're working on, what your check ball configuration will be. I know it's in there somewhere. I've used it 100 times. But anyway, we'll hide with the disassembly. Pull your feed bolts out. That's these 3 bolts here. These are notorious for coming loose and burning the... Well, see, and that one there wasn't tight. Makes you wonder if it was leaking through there. And the kit will usually come with new feed bolts. You'll notice that 2 of them are... They have the same size head on them, but the actual diameter of the thread of the bolt is different. got all that out now, means I didn't bring my slide hammer with me. Sometimes a guy can get lucky and just take a rubber mallet and whack it on the stator of the pump here. You just kind of have to work it back and forth. You can pull this shaft out too. Forgot your intermediate shaft. You can pull that out. Okay, that's one way that you can pull your pump out without using a slide hammer. Thrust washer, and man, this one got hot. Man, I bet you that pump is smoked. We're gonna take that pump apart. This thing got hot, man, really hot. This is going to be almost like a reman transmission by the time we're done, because I think we're going to have to change everything in it. Okay. Let's see here. You got a big snap ring here. So I need to get my screwdrivers. Okay. So, should be able to take out the ghost clutch assembly. Should have a thrust bearing in here. Alright, then you're going to have a snap ring in here. Okay, so this is going to be your overdrive here. I was looking in the book there to make sure I was getting my terminology right. This is a flat snap ring, so it's not tapered or anything. Pull out your overdrive pressure plate. Let's look at these overdrive. Let's see what we got here. They're burnt. Yeah, they're burnt pretty bad. They didn't completely destroy them, but they're not any good. And this is what I always see with these transmissions. This snap ring is come off of here. See, that's not supposed to be like that. There's a new spiral snap ring, an updated snap ring to put in here that's a lot better. We'll put that updated snap ring in there. Okay. That's what I thought. The overdrive should come out of there. Got your overdrive ring gear, and you got your sprag in here. There'll be a sun gear that's in there. As hot as this one gets, we're really gonna have to check a lot of stuff to make sure it ain't really smoked bad. And a level spring there for that piston there. That spring there is supposed to retain that level spring, and of course it's not really doing much. that's where, let's see here. I had a tool that I had made for this. You necessarily don't need it to pull it apart, but you gotta have it to put it back together. Usually you wouldn't do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do that on this one because the snap ring for the piston is not anymore, so it makes it just a little easier to get to. Find that tool that I made years ago. It compresses. This is what it does. I haven't rebuilt one of these e4ods in a while though. You can get it out of there. You can get it apart without the tool. Just try not to kink the snap ring and tear it up. Now you can pull your center support out. And they can be kind of on the son of a gun there sometimes to get out of there. They'll do that right there, they'll bind up on you. That's the spring you're trying to collapse right there. And we'll stack all this stuff up the way it's supposed to sit in here. Here's our center support. Actually, no, I'm wrong. That's not the center support. This is the center support right here. Thrust washer there. I know there's a bearing in here. There's a couple bearings in this valve. Let's see here. I thought that would come out of there now. Yeah. Yeah, they can be tight. But really look at these. There's a bearing in here, a roller bearing. Replace that bearing or it'll bite you. Okay. Intermediate plates. Sprag. Another sprag. Pressure plate to come out of there would be nice. end. Let's put our sprag back on here. Oh, everything's just kind of lined up. You'll see a big plastic thrust washer here. And one piece of the sprag is still on the... And these sprags, I replace them. I just replace them. Actually, it goes like that. Another clutch back in there. And the rest of it should have low reverse back here. This is going to be another clutch pack, and I can see this one's smoked. And then the gear train. Man, this thing got hot though. Really hot. Tore this thrust washer up. I got a bad thrust washer there. I can see it on my planetary. See how the material's gone off of it? We gotta change that thrust washer, it's junk. Planet gears are okay though. It just got so damn hot. And our sun shell. What is the scratch inside there? What the hell is that from? If you've ever torn one of the 4L60E Chevy transmissions before, they got a sun shell kind of like this, and they're notorious for breaking this with the sun. They're a little bit different setup, but the sun gear, where it goes through the center of the shell, it'll break, or the sun shell itself will break, or the splines will strip out on it. Okay. Get a mechanical diode in there. That just comes off of there. Let's see here. That's right, there's a snap ring in there on the output shaft that has to come out. I forgot about that one. There's a snap ring on the output shaft way back in there that's got to come out. Okay, here we go yet with another track of audio that's missing. I think it's about time to shit can this GoPro and get a different one. But anyway, so here's the pump. We're going to take this thing apart, and to be honest with you, I'm just guessing, I probably do. I'm not like an automatic transmission shop where I rebuild, 100 of these a year or more. I probably go through 10 of these a year for people. I kind of like doing them. I like doing them until one of them comes back on me, but I've had a couple come back on me. These automatic transmissions are very complicated, and there's a lot of things that you got to look out for, and a lot of things that can go wrong. They're not near as heavy built as a power shift transmission in like a tractor. I don't ever see too many things come back on me on power shifts because they're so, to be honest with you, they're so more well built than these things. Everything on these things is light duty.
they're really light duty, and you really got to watch all these parts, because if they get hot one time, they're done. So if you get one like this that's been really hot, change all them sprags, change all that kind of stuff, change your pump. Look at this pump though. This is, I've never seen in all the years that I've been doing this, one of these pumps like this. It basically seized the pump, and the torque converter kept trying to turn it, but it broke the internal. It's an internal gear pump. That's what Ford likes to use. Chevy likes to use a vane pump, like the 4L60Es do. And but this one here is an internal gear pump, just like a charge pump on a tractor. You know, it's just a low pressure, high volume pump. But as you'll see here, it really, really screwed this one up. I've never seen one this bad. I mean, you can see right there where it broke it, and there's, I mean, you could stick your small finger almost in that gap where it broke that one. It cracked it on the other side and just burnt the living shit out of everything. I mean, that whole thing is actually, it's all scrap iron, because where the steel gears, you know, the face sides of the gears, they're all scratched up and scored up, so they've screwed up the sealing surfaces where they go on the aluminum case halves. So the entire thing's just scrap iron. It's going to have to get about a $400 new pump. So this one is definitely not going to be cheap for this guy. He's not going to like this one. I told him, I said, you know, sometimes you're better off to buy a remanufactured transmission, which I don't know about those either. I've had a couple of those remanufacturers that I've had to pull back out and send them back off, and I had to eat the labor. The people that remanufacture the transmission wouldn't cover my labor, so you know, I'm a little bit leery on that too. But anyways, I've never seen a pump seize up like that and break the gear like that. It's pretty crazy, isn't it?